can't buy. It resides between my eyes. Walked through the fire, came out better on the other side. See, life's like a beach if you find the sand. And right now, I feel like 100 grand.
You are listening to Inspired Insider with your host, Dr. Jeremy Weisz.
Dr. Jeremy Weisz here, founder of InspiredInsider.com, where I talk with inspirational entrepreneurs like the founders of P90X, Atari, and many more, and how they overcome big challenges in life and business. Our sponsor today is Rise25.com, which helps service professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants, coaches, anyone working with clients one-on-one, stop trading time for dollars and shift from a one-to-one client work to one-to-many. You can go to Rise25.com, learn more, download the free Dream Product Ladder, which is basically a business plan on one sheet of paper that helps you see gaps in untapped revenue potential. Companies like Disney, Apple, Sporting Industries all use versions of the product ladder. Check out Rise25.com. Today, I am very excited. Hailing from Germany, we have Franz Jordan. He's the co-founder of Sellics, which is a powerful all-in-one tool that combines everything sellers need to be successful on Amazon. Right? What more can they ask for, Franz? Sellics evolved from Franz's first company, Marketplace Analytics, which is a German analytics company that was first of its kind to focus on Amazon SEO back in 2014. In the internet years, that's a long time, Franz. You can manage and optimize your sponsored product campaigns entirely in Sellics PPC Manager. Other features include a profit dashboard, keyword ranking optimizer, competitor monitoring, and much more. Companies like Bosch Appliances, Lego, and Brita are just some of the many companies that use Sellics. Franz, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy. I'm very happy to be in the show.
So when does the negative come into play, and how should someone do that?
Oh, it's complicated to do it just verbally. Usually, I have a.
I know. I try and give you a challenge.
And it's not even my mother tongue. This is really challenging.
I've seen your part. I've seen your slides. It's really interesting. Because it's almost like it's almost like a decision making document, sort of like what you're saying now, which is if you have an auto, then after you do the auto, you take the ones that are working and you put them into manual, and the manual you can do a separate broad and exact campaign, right?
Yes.
So just overall, just for a second, explain negative. I don't know, for me, people explain it in different ways. So how does the negative work, and what is it in general?
So let's say, negative essentially means that if you put a keyword to negative, you don't want any of your ads to appear for this particular keyword, right? Let's say that, you have a keyword as a dog house, right? So dog and house, right? So you could set dog house as, those two terms to negative exact, which would mean you would not rank for the exact word dog house, right? But you could still appear for some sort of combination, right? So if you put it to negative exact, you exactly, this is the exact term that you are kind of, avoiding to rank for. Then you have another one, which is negative broad. And there essentially, if you put dog to negative, you won't rank for dog house because dog house contains a dog, right? So broad essentially blocks you from more keywords.
So from do people use broad for negative keywords? That seems like you're eliminating a lot of stuff.
Yes, in some situations it might make sense to use broad, right? So if, for instance, you have a
let's say, for instance, if you mentioned the dog house example, let's say you have a dog poop bag or something, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want your poop bag to come up when someone searches dog house because they're not looking for a poop bag or something. So you may put exact like dog house for that or something like that. But I'm trying to think of an example of why someone wouldn't do why they would do a broad negative keyword.
So let's assume you're selling a round doghouse, right? Oh wait, no, maybe that's not. No, let's go different. So let's assume you're selling an iPhone case that is made out of how's it called, synthetic leather, right? then you don't want to rank for any combination that includes the term like real leather, for instance, right? Because leather is also what's like
or
a plastic. Let's say you're selling
something?
a plastic. Yeah, let's say you're selling a wooden iPhone case, right? So you don't want to rank for any keyword that includes leather iPhone, right? So instead of what you could do is now you could block all the terms that include leather, right? iPhone case, leather iPhone case, blue iPhone case, leather, and so on. Or you just put leather into negative broad, which will then eliminate that you rank for any leather iPhone cases, right?
Got it.
So this is an example where you use broad, right? Just make it simple, easier to.
Yeah, and I guess people, if they see there's a keyword that they're getting just destroyed on, they're making no money but a lot of click-throughs, then they should probably put it into some kind of negative situation, I assume.
Yes. Well, if you see that you're not selling, you have essentially like three options, right? First is you reduce your bid, right? To see that maybe if at a lower bid you still can generate sales that are profitable. The next step would be to pause it. That means you're not ranking for it. And then the last step would be to put it to negative. But putting it to negative, really does make sense if you want to kind of block the entire kind of category, right? So the entire keyword.
Yeah.
Right? And so what we suggest how to use the search terms is essentially it's a bit complicated, but we suggest to put because eventually you have a situation where you have the same keyword in your broad ad group and your exact ad group, right? And so what would happen is that basically you would bid on the same keyword in both ad groups. And so in order to avoid this, we recommend to add a keyword to the broad ad group as broad and add it at the same time as negative exact in the broad campaign, right? So that you will only bid exactly on this term in the exact ad group, and in the broad ad group you bid on all the other search terms that belong to this keyword but are not exactly the one that you are bidding for, right?
This is crazy. It's if anyone does not get this, just stick to the earlier conversation. But no, I get what you're saying. You really have to be in the campaign showing someone. It's hard to, if you can't visualize it, like you can kind of visualize where everything is. You almost need to follow along while you're doing it, type of thing. But and so the product campaign type, auto manual, the match type, broad exact, or even negative keyword, and then the strategy. Talk a little about the strategies, because you mentioned a few, like there's profit, there's impressions. Why would you want to do one over the other? Or what are the different strategies people will take with the PPC?
So, to keep it simple, essentially there are two strategies. So one strategy is to use sponsored products to generate more profit. So essentially use it as an additional kind of sales channel. The other one is to increase your units, so the units you sell, right? Hoping to increase your organic ranking by doing this, right? So if you want to increase your units, you don't care too much about the profit. In fact, most people are aiming for a break-even kind of situations where they don't lose and don't make money. Some people are even accepting a loss just to boost their sales.
That'll push maybe the organic ranking or something.
Exactly. So that's kind of the strategy that most follow nowadays. To be honest, I'm a bit skeptical that the impact is still as big as it is. So it used to be very big, this connection between organic and paid. I think they kind of reduced it a little bit. And so the situation that I fear is that, especially in the US, because the US market is a bit more ahead, compared to Europe, is that sellers spend money like crazy on sponsored products, and they always justify it with, yes, but it's going to pay off,
increase the sell-through. Yeah,
exactly.
And it maybe rank them high in organic, and they'll sell more on the
so that's
like more of a long-term play.
Exactly.
So what do you think about that? You think that's not as smart?
Well, I think that everyone is basing their strategy on the assumption that there is a connection between paid and organic,
right.
And nobody has ever tested it. And so I think what's going on in the US market is the click price, the CPCs are going through the roof. People pay multiple dollars for one click. And I think that, people take huge losses and accept huge losses because they believe that it's going to push their organic ranking. And if it turns out that this is not true, then, a lot of people would have a very loss-making strategy without ever making a profit out of it, right?
Yeah, there's just a hole in the boat. There's water just leaking out. But
That's
that's a big assumption, I guess, right?
Yeah, we're currently testing it. We're currently trying to figure out if there's some connections or not. So
yeah.
yes.
Any word of it right now?
I can't tell. It would be unreasonable for me to tell anything
right now. Franz, this has been fascinating. I really appreciate your time. I could probably talk to you for another few hours, but I know you have a bunch of features to get at. And I think I saw, so everyone should check out Sellics.com. If you haven't realized from this conversation, the guy knows what he's talking about, and they have some really cool tools. And I know some really big sellers that highly recommend Sellics. So everyone should check out Sellics, Sellics.com. Check it out. I don't know why you do this, a little bit crazy maybe, but you have a 14-day free trial. So, and there's no credit card required on that.
No, I think this is a European kind of thing, right? I know in the US it's a bit different, but we feel very confident about the product. We don't feel like we need to trap people into converting them automatically to paid customers. So I think we have a very fair offering. It's good value for money, and so we want to encourage as many people as possible to try it. And then if they like it, they can just become a customer.
Now you guys run something called Sonar-Tool 2. That's yours, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So talk about that.
So Sonar, so it's sonar-tool.com, right? And so Sonar is a keyword research tool. So what we talked about before. And so what's special about Sonar is that it's completely free, even though it's very powerful. So the alternative would be to pay like $30-$50 per month just to use a tool like Sonar. And so we released Sonar pretty exactly a year ago.
Talk about the decision of that. Why free? Because you could have obviously easily incorporated into the suite of tools, but you didn't.
So what was the situation? So the situation was that, a year ago, essentially, we came up with a plan to have this keyword research feature. And so we just wanted to put it out on the market to kind of, the key idea was to make Sonar popular and by this, increase the awareness for Sellics. And it worked very well for us. And to be honest, I think we've reached a point where we could just incorporate it and it would just be fine as well. But we don't like to take away value from the users. Even also when we add new features, we always it's always free for the current users. We never make